What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Mike Jeezy here. I apologize for not doing a video in like a million years. I think the last video I did was the JD interview, and then just been super busy past that. I'll be going over what I've done, and as you can tell by the title, this will be my official retirement / farewell video. So I'm going to bring up my notes because I have a lot of stuff to talk about. So what I've been up to lately, I guess the biggest news is that I've been packing, and I'm going to be moving to Pensacola, Florida. So that's pretty much on the other side of the U.S. Just have some job opportunities and stuff, and make changes in my life and that kind of thing. This is a sample of Pensacola Beach. It's very pretty. The water does actually look like, this clear and stuff. I was down there several years ago when I was stationed down there for training in the Navy. So wife and I just want to kind of like go back and, we take advantage of the, things that are down there. We did enjoy it. It's pretty hot and stuff. Here's a view with a lot more people, and the Blue Angels flying there. You see them pretty often down there. So, it looks awesome. I'm planning on hitting the beaches. Well, not as much as I can because I don't like the heat, but pretty often. It's fun. I'll learn to like it more. So yeah, we're gonna be moving to Florida actually this month. We're leaving on the 22nd, so it's only 11 days from now. I've been pretty much like MIA for the past few weeks, just been packing up the house. Since I do own a house, we also have to like sell it, and that's kind of like, its own process too. So just been super busy. We have a lot of stuff in the house. It's not even like all packed up yet. It's just, we have too much stuff. I wish I can have a huge yard sale, but most of the excess crap is my wife's because she's a hoarder. So yeah, that's that. So I've been selling all my cards. Pretty much sold 90% of my Magic stuff. Planning on giving the last bit of it away. Sold all, or I guess I didn't have any Yu-Gi-Oh to sell. I gave what I had left to Shigs and stuff. So lately I've been playing, I wouldn't say a lot of Hearthstone. Let me pull up my Hearthstone thing. Oh my god, it's gonna load. Refresh. Oh, maybe with the wiki it goes away. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I've been playing a decent amount of Hearthstone. I haven't really, I've switched to playing on the mobile version just because it's so much more convenient, and I don't have to boot up the computer, and my computer's slow anyway, so it's been faster and more convenient playing Hearthstone on my phone. Right now with Hearthstone, there's kind of like Blackrock Mountain, the expansion's done, so everyone has pretty much all the cards for it. So the format's been pretty stagnant, I would say. I think most of the people have figured out their builds and the new cards and what to run. With that set, there's a new deck called Grim Patron Warrior, which it's fun. It's kind of it's kind of like a combo aggro deck. It's cheap, but yeah, I don't really play it that often just because I kind of prefer the old Control Warrior style. So yeah, I've been playing it on my phone, which leads to not, being uploaded. I don't know how to screen cap off my phone. And I've also been playing this new game called Puzzle and Dragons, which probably sounds stupid, but I've actually gotten really into it. It's a really deep game. I'll show you a picture of it. So that's Puzzle and Dragons. I always thought it was kind of funny how puzzle is singular, but dragons is plural. I think to be more correct or consistent, it'd be Puzzles and Dragons or like Puzzle and Dragon, but it's like a Japanese thing, so like to say puzzles in Japanese like pretty much requires a whole nother like a whole nother sound, so it's easier just for them to say Puzzle and Dragons. So this Puzzle and Dragons, it's pretty much like, you know, in America, like Candy Crush and like Words with Friends, that kind of stuff, like that's like, those are like the big games here. You could say Puzzle and Dragons is basically Japan's version of Candy Crush. Like it's super popular over there. It's been like the #1 game for quite a while. I think it bumped down to #2 or something lately, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of, oh, it doesn't, you can't really tell here, but it's kind of like a combination of, yeah, you can see here, it's a combination of like Bejeweled and like an RPG element. It's a very deep game. Learning curve is like, I don't know, it took me a little bit to actually like understand what the hell I was doing. And like, you know, you have to research a little bit. It helps to research it. And then I'm kind of like sort of getting into it now and how to like evolve your monsters and that kind of shit. But yeah, just something I've been doing on the side. And I've actually, like, speaking of Words with Friends, like that, if you know me, like that used to be like my game. I'd play that shit all the time, and I would make people rage quit and just like like drop the game altogether, just because, like, I don't know, I learned to be really good at that game and like just play it very well. But yeah, I've completely dropped that game. I like uninstalled it from my phone, and just like I've been playing, you know, Puzzle and Dragons, and then Hearthstone. With Hearthstone, yeah, I'm just waiting for the new expansion to come out. I have like 4,000 and some gold. There's no reason to buy like any of the packs for like the first 2 sets, just because I have everything. So with that game, you know, I'm just grinding out the quests and saving my gold for the new set. I'll probably buy like a box worth of packs, you know, with all the gold that I've been accruing. So yeah, that's my plan with Hearthstone. Let's see. So yeah, oh, another thing I've been doing is working on my fitness game. It probably started like 4 weeks ago-ish. I've lost about 17 pounds, which, you know, isn't like a whole lot, but like, you know, when you just think of a number, it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when you think, it's like, well, that's like an average of 4 pounds a week. So that's like a pretty healthy weight loss, you know, ratio. And I've just been like eating a lot better. I've been like exercising more, you know, as much as I can. I do like workout videos. I don't have a gym membership, and it doesn't make sense to get one right now since I'll be moving soon. But the apartment complex I'll be moving to has a gym there, so I imagine that I'll be hitting the gym like as often as I can. Oh, and the apartment that we're going to be moving to is actually the same one that I had the first time I was in Florida, so it's kind of nice to go back, you know, to at least something that you're used to, even though it might be like completely different by now. I don't know. So yeah, but with fitness, it all started. Got a shout out to my boy Chris Mitchell, Chris Ramirez. He posted, or he shared this video called "The Most Vicious Fitness Motivation Ever" by Rock Solid 2007. So I've been watching this video like at least once a day. It just helps me keep motivated. Yeah, like it's, I don't know, after watching this video, if it doesn't motivate you to like get off your ass and start working out, like, I don't know, nothing's gonna motivate you then. Maybe like sexual favors or something, but you know, you have to have like, you know, you gotta get yourself motivated, GYM, and yeah, I'll post the link to this video below. You know, if you struggle with fitness, if you struggle with weight, like, you know, watch this video, and it'll pretty much put like perspective in your life. Like, you know, remember the things that are important, and, you know, ultimately, you know, if you don't take care of yourself, like, you're gonna die, and that's kind of what it's all about. So yeah, I've been watching this video, like, I used to watch it, like, just several times a day, and then kind of, like, weaned out to, like, once a day or every other day. It helps me to keep motivated. Like, it's hard to keep yourself motivated to work out and eat right. Like, if you know me, like, I love fast food, I love soda. Like, it's hard not to just, get out of my house, get in my car and drive to McDonald's and get like a double, McChicken meal, or go to Walmart and buy a 12-pack of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Like, there's temptation all around us, and it's really hard. Like, when you've been eating that crap for basically your whole life, and now you're gonna like cut it out. Like, it's hard. So everything that you can do to keep yourself motivated and stay on track, is what you need to do. So I've subscribed to this guy, and he's also he posts quite a bit on Facebook, and like, I don't know, like everything he posts, I just try to like absorb and like listen to and like incorporate in my life. I used to always hate water. Like, I think that's just like an American thing. We tend to like always prefer like a flavored drink or soda or whatever, but when you learn about all the health benefits of water, like, it makes you think like, why am I not drinking water? Like, it's just too good not to do it. Like, I kind of think that way. Like, if it's too good, like, why wouldn't you not do it? Or why would you not do it? So I've been trying to drink like a gallon of water a day. That's like my goal, which like sounds like a lot. It is a lot. Like, when you drink a lot of water and you just need to pee all the time, like, it's annoying, but it actually gets to a point in your body where, like, at least from what I've noticed, like, like, you have that initial, like, oh, I need to pee a bunch phase, but eventually, like, it kind of tapers down, and when you pee, it's still really clear, so you're really hydrated still. So it kind of, like, I don't know, you get to a point where you kind of, I wouldn't say like you get used to it, but I think your body like adapts, or it finally like becomes properly hydrated. But yeah, I don't know, like, I'm still kind of getting into this and like, doing more research. What's my next point? Oh, I think I was going to talk more about fitness. So this will be kind of like a brief history about me. So when I was growing up, like between like the ages of 0 up to about 7, like I've always been like super skinny. Like, if you look at a picture of me and then like predict what I would look like in when I grew up, I'd probably look more like Brandon Link than I do now. I've just been like a super scrawny kid, and then we moved to America. Or I grew up in Japan, the first 7 years of my life. Moved to Germany for a year, and then we moved here. So, and then naturally, like, jokes aside, when we moved here is when I got fat. So between like when I was 8 years old, so I was in 3rd grade, up until my freshman year in high school, I just kept gaining weight and didn't really care. Fitness wasn't really a part of my life. It wasn't, I did play tennis and stuff with my family, but it wasn't, they never like emphasized. Oops, turned my phone on accidentally. Yeah, it was never like emphasized. So I just kind of like gained weight every year, and there is like when you're gaining weight during those years, like, adults tend to just be like, oh, he's a growing boy, it's okay if he has seconds and thirds. And like, looking back at it, like, that's bullshit. Like, it's not okay. If I could like redo my life, or if I could have told like some of those people, like, as I was growing up, like, I would tell them, hey, it's not okay. There's like, I guess there is this whole like, oh, you're a growing boy thing, but you have to teach your kids like control, and to not eat just to eat. Like, I don't know. There's like a really fine line, because I do know that like boys growing up, they do need like those calories, but like, like it can't be like an excuse to just like gorge yourself and like eat crap, soda and Burger King and all this stuff all the time. So yeah, I struggled with my weight during those years. It didn't help that my aunt, like, she's passed away now, but she always like gave me a guilt trip about not eating like seconds or thirds or like excess amount of dessert. She was like, oh, you don't love me because you're not eating thirds. So like when you hear that as a kid, like what are you supposed to do? Like I was always I'm still a people pleaser, so naturally, like I want them to feel loved, so I would eat like thirds, and it was just not a good way to learn about food and how to eat properly and that kind of thing. So in freshman year, I joined the varsity tennis team, and I lost like a ton of weight in that because my coach, he was a hard ass, but like it was awesome that he was, because he whipped me into shape, and through like my high school years, I was like super shape. I was pretty relatively skinny. I'd ran a lot and played tennis and that kind of stuff. So I was pretty fit like all through high school, and then went on to college. Naturally, like the freshman 15, like that is a thing. Maybe for me it was like the freshman 25. I don't remember. But yeah, I gained weight back in college. Yeah, like looking back, I've just been like a big like yo-yo dieter, I guess you could say. Like lose weight and then like gain weight and lose weight and gain weight. And I know that's really bad for you, but I don't know, it just happens naturally for me. Like I guess you could say, like some people are just naturally skinny and they're like naturally, just like that. And like no matter how much they eat, they just like stay skinny. I would say like I'm the opposite of that. Like I'm naturally a fat guy, and like I need to work my ass off just to like lose, like 2 pounds. Like it sucks, but eating right helps a lot. So yeah, I did, kind of gain weight back in college. Probably had like a few, stints of like fitness where I lose, 10, 15 pounds, and then I like gain it back again. And then, I trained to join the Navy after, during like my last year-ish in college. So, I got super fit again. I was probably like more fit or as fit during my last years in college, like as I was in high school, because I was really worried about if I was like fit enough, to make it in the Navy, and I got like super like fitness was my my full-time job pretty much. Like I was pretty much training like on like 6 to 8 hours a day, like right before I went in. I was working part-time, but like my schedule was something like wake up at 6:30 to go play tennis with some people. It was like a tennis club kind of thing. It had like it was mostly like senior citizens, but there were some that actually like were pretty good. So I'd play tennis for like an hour and a half, and then like come back, have breakfast, and then go swimming at the pool for about an hour. Come back, have lunch, then go play tennis with a buddy of mine. Kind of like in the mid. Oh, wait, no. I also went to the gym. So no, I went to go play tennis. Came back, have breakfast, go to the gym, come back, have lunch, go to the pool, come back, have a snack, go play tennis, come back, have dinner, and then go for a run and come back. So like. That's just crazy talking to myself about it. Like, yeah, I used to train all the time. So, trained a lot, like had to eat. It's actually like kind of cool. Like the more in shape you're in, like the more you can kind of eat. Like you get to eat like 5 or 6 times a day. You kind of have to, just because like your body is metabolizing, so much better, and you're like hungry all the time, which is kind of annoying. Like if you are in a position where you kind of like have to miss a meal, and you're like, oh my god, I'm starving, and like, the person's like, hey, you just ate like 2 hours ago. I'm like, yeah, I'm I'm hungry again. So yeah, so I got super in shape to join the Navy. Came back, and then I pretty much like gained all that weight plus a lot. So now I'm at this point where I'm like trying to lose all that weight again. Yeah, it's been difficult. Like, I'm a lot older now than I was, so I can tell like, my body isn't like, metabolizing as fast, and admittedly I do need to like work out more. I'm kind of like been focusing on the diet aspect of it. There's still like a lazy part of me that's like, oh, I don't want to like do this freaking like fitness video and lift weights and stuff, but I'm confident that I'm gonna keep on doing it. I've also been realizing like with Yu-Gi-Oh, it's always like, I don't know, card games for me has just always been like life distractors. Like, I came to the realization, like even a long time ago, like, if I spent like half the time as I did with Yugs on my fitness, like I'd be, in great shape. If I spent 3/4 of the time or like all the time that I did on Yugs and card games as I did on my fitness and life, like I'd be swole. This is god damn it, is Urban Dictionary of swole. Extremely muscular or buff. So that's my goal. I want to be swole. Looking ahead, I like card games aren't in my future. I just can't like, hide it from the wife like anymore. Yeah, I'll talk about my future in a little bit, but like if I like Yu-Gi-Oh has always been like a life distraction, and like I don't regret that, that in itself. Like I have like some of the best, friendships I've ever made, like, playing Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic and stuff. So I can't say, I regret that. It's just like when I get into something, like I'm completely in it, and like I, forget what's like actually, the priorities. Like your health and like your life need to be more priority than like playing Yu-Gi-Oh and being, good at Yu-Gi-Oh and that kind of thing. Alright, so I was gonna say like fitness. I'll probably like come back here. I don't know. I don't know what our Christmas plans are, but ideally I'd like to come visit, on Christmas. So by the time you see me in Christmas, like I might not be swole, but I'll be more in shape. So look forward to that. So yeah, let's talk about Yu-Gi-Oh. So I have future here. So I want to talk about like, what do I see Yu-Gi-Oh's future like? Well, first I want to talk about like Yu-Gi-Oh and my love for it. Like, I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh in some number of months now, at least not the paper Yu-Gi-Oh. But, I can say I love Yu-Gi-Oh and I'll always love it. Like, it's one of those things where you like love to hate it and you hate to love it. Like, you love to hate, people love to hate on Yu-Gi-Oh! Because like, oh yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Sucks, but they still play it, even after like shitty formats and shitty card prices, people, they love the game, so they trudge through it, and they hate to love it because, they hate to admit, like, I suffer through all of Konami's crap because I love the game. And, it does, I think the hate with Yu-Gi-Oh! It does come from Konami. Like, you can love, it's possible to, hate Konami but still love Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, deep down, fundamentally, enjoy the game. I don't like Konami, how they run it. I wish that Wizards would take over it, and, if they did take over it, it'd probably change quite a bit, but I think, and a lot of people would be angry just because that's what people naturally do when anything changes, like they get angry. But I think like a lot of the game aspects could be balanced out. It would be less focused on like company profits. Like when you compare like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, like for the most part, like it's, on the outside it looks like Magic does care more about their players, but that's not to say that they don't care about profits too. So there's like a fine line between that, and like when you think of Konami and how they've handled Yu-Gi-Oh, like it's pretty debatable, to say that they care about their customers and like the players. And like I know deep down, I'm sure they do to some extent. It's just like really hard to see it. And like, all the evidence like kind of points to the contrary, like with all the rarity bumps and like, having so many like secret rares and like short prints and all this stuff, like when they do that, it's hard to be like, yeah, Konami cares about the players. Like, I'm still like salty about how they short printed the crap out of Necros. Like that was just like a dick move. They could have made it really accessible, and they still would have made money, but they just have to short print it, and they want more, and they're just like, greedy as F. Like, so when like a company treats you like that, it's just hard to like, it's easy to fall out of love with Yu-Gi-Oh because of Konami, and that's just like that's bullshit, So the future of Yu-Gi-Oh, with Yu-Gi-Oh, like back when like it was 2008, I think that was like Teledad. Like everyone predicted the end of Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, oh, this season, like everyone's just sick of it. Like, we can't spend like like $1,200 on decks. Like it's gonna die. But 7 years later, it's still around. So I either think Yu-Gi-Oh will die out in a year and a half, or it's just like never gonna die out. And I don't know, like Konami's been going through a lot of like weird stuff lately. I don't know all the details with like Metal Gear Solid and Silent Hills or whatever. I don't really care too much about that. So yeah, I either think it's gonna die like relatively soon, or it's just not gonna die at all. And people will say, oh, it's gonna die, but like the anime is been like the fifth. I think that's why it's called like Arc 5, is because it's the fifth, iteration of the show or whatever. And like I don't know what the ratings and stuff are in Japan with the show. I don't know what it is here either. Obviously, people are still watching it, at least to some extent, if they still have like a fifth, fifth run. I do think the game is pretty dependent on the anime, and I know a lot of people like don't agree with that, but like the anime is how they promote it to the casual player, and all the little kids that get their parents or whatever to buy them packs and like that kind of thing. Like, I don't have like the exact numbers on it, but I think like that's where their like money comes from. It's not from the competitive players. It's not from YCSs. It's all the little kids that get their parents to buy them, packs and packs, and they go to the grocery store and like that kind of stuff. That's where their money comes from, and that's like a big assumption. Like I said, I don't know the numbers, but a lot of competitive players, we don't buy packs, we don't buy boxes, or we might buy a box or something and just like order singles. So and if they don't have the anime, like there's really no incentive, or there's less, you like commercials and like TV shows. It's kind of like a form of like mind control for kids. Like when they see it, like that's what they want. They see Stardust Dragon or whatever, and like I want a freaking Stardust Dragon for my junk doppeldeck or whatever the hell, or I want my Performapal pendulum thing, like for my pendulum deck, or Odd Eyes or whatever. Like those, those are the people that are buying product, like to the extent that, the profit actually matters. There has to be more to talk about. So yeah, the future of Yugs. I guess. Oh, I could talk about Spokane. So it seems like the Spokane area, y'all's attendance has been like going up or like being steady. There was kind of like a bottom out period, and maybe with the summer it's kind of been going up. So I don't know. I don't ever envision it to be back in the good old heydays of 40 plus people, but I don't think it's going to die out. Like, the community, you're like, you're strong enough to, and stable enough that you'll always play, with a consistent, like, some number in the teens or like the low to mid 20s that you'll be able to play the game and have fun and win packs and that kind of thing. So I wouldn't worry about that. Like, it's not going to die. And I guess, I don't know, it might depend on if Roy wants to keep doing it, but I think, like, Roy loves the game, that if y'all show up, he's going to show up too, and if he shows up, there's a tourney, so, I don't think there's much to worry about. So, my goals with Yu-Gi-Oh! And get some water here. So, with my goals with Yu-Gi-Oh!, I've pretty much like achieved everything I wanted to. Like, I never topped the YCS or anything, but being like not single, like it's pretty hard to like, hit the circuit and that kind of thing. And I don't know, realistically, I was probably never good enough to like, be like on Jeff Jones level or something. I just don't play the game enough. Like, I know, it like depends on your testing and how you test, and like, I think, with games like this, you're only gonna be as good as the people that you play with. So, like we've seen that in like Spokane, where you guys go to like the regionals and ARGs and stuff, and like, you don't, I don't want to say you don't do well, but like, I don't think any of us topped ARG or YCS or anything. So I think like, people have got to like step up their game. I don't know how they're going to do it. Like, if you took like one good player and they just tested against some shitty player over and over and over and over and over, they're not going to get like, exponentially better. They're going to either like stay the same, like improve a little bit, or they're going to get worse because they see, like bad tendencies from like the person that's not as good. So, you always need to be playing people that are better than you, because that's how you get up to their level. And then when you got to their level, you hope that, they increase, they step their game up, or they're playing with people that are better, and like that's how you get better at the game. It's not, just playing over and over and over with no like purpose. Like, you have to like open up your mind and like think of your moves and like deck build better, and that kind of thing. And I think like a big like hindrance to getting better is just being lazy. Like, I hate to say it, but like when people like post, like I even see this on the Magic page, like people post like, well, when is this regional, or what topped this event? Like, if you're gonna have enough energy to post and ask, just look the shit up. It's fucking 2015, and you don't know how to use Google. Like, some dude posted, oh, did this card come out in this set? Look it up, motherfucker. Shit. Like, I'm like legitimately getting pissed off because people are just lazy, and like, you can't be late. If you want to legitimately improve and you want to get better, you can't be lazy. Just look the shit up. My wife is like that too. Like, she'll be working on the computer and like, she'll be like, well, how do you do this? Like, 95% of the time I just do it for her because I don't want to get into a fight. But in my mind, I'm like, look the shit up. Like, when I learn something, I don't have someone teaching me. I look the shit up. You know, that's how you learn. Like, people need to not be spoon-fed. We live in 2015, and everyone wants to be spoon-fed information. They just want it in front of them, and they never want to look it up. They never want to research. Like, do the work yourself. Don't be so goddamn lazy. So, yeah. Sorry for that. Being upset for a little bit, but it just infuriates me. Like, people need to help me help you kind of thing. But don't expect me to like spoon feed you information all the time. Like, look it up. You got an internet connection, and if you don't have an internet, if you got a cell phone and you got like a data plan, you can look it up. Like, it's ridiculous. So stop being lazy. So thank yous. If I can't talk about each individual person that I want to thank, but I just want to thank like the entire community. I want to thank the Idaho community, except Larson. Fuck him. I want to thank my team. While I've played Yu-Gi-Oh, like, my goal has always been, to improve. But it's always, been a goal of mine to help other people improve. And if you've ever read my blog, and if you ever checked out a YouTube video, and if anything that I've ever posted has helped you in any way possible, or if we did a trade and it helped you out a lot, that's kind of what I've always been about, is to help other people. Naturally, I like to make money, so it helps me, but help me help you, help you help me, exactly, that kind of thing. So yeah, I just want to thank the community for everything. It's been fun. I've had a ton of great games with people, even people that aren't very good, or people that are better than me or whatever. Each game that I play, I want to have a good game, and thinking of all the matches I've played, I believe a lot of the time when people play me, they have a good game out of it. It's never really I just stomped your face, or you stomped my face, or anything. I have been stomped, and I've stomped people, but at the end of the day, I want to get better. I want to help you get better. I've always played like that. I never really played just to dick around. I always played for a purpose, and that purpose was to get better. I got that mentality from playing high school tennis in high school. My coach always said each time you play it, play like you're in the finals of a big tournament. Play with purpose, and trying to get better, trying to learn techniques to improve your game, and coordination, and that kind of stuff. With Yu-Gi-Oh and card games, it's always been making the most optimal plays, and even if you don't make the best play in that game and you lose, then you remember it and you improve for the next game and don't make the same mistakes. I played against some people, they make one mistake one game, and in the very next game they do the exact same thing. And oh man, they don't learn, and they don't absorb, and I don't know if it's a learning disability. Not trying to sound messed up, but is it something with your brain? I don't know. I don't want to sound too messed up or anything, but just people need to absorb the information right, and think about it, and do your research. Like I said earlier, don't expect people to just spoon feed you information. They already do spoon feed you when you read an article, but you have to take the initiative to go out and find the article, find the video, watch a future match or whatever. It's up to you to improve. It's not anyone else's responsibility for you to improve. And I kind of got that from, this fitness video. If you watch it, and toward the end, he's he says, I shouldn't give more of a fuck about you than you. So that means it's not, anyone's responsibility to make sure you eat the right foods. It's not anyone's responsibility to make sure you go to the gym. It's your job. And that's what he talks about. And with Yu-Gi-Oh, it's the same. Like, it's not my job to make you better. It's your job. And, you take the initiative and do the research and play test. Like, people don't play test enough. Like, even if it's like Dueling Network or YGO Pro, like, if you have access to every card in the game, why are you playing with dumb shit? Like, play. I understand, like, if you don't have like the budget for some card, yeah, it doesn't make sense to play test with that card or whatever, but like, when you're playing, like, I don't know, I don't have an example right now, but you're just playing like some terrible card and there's another better card that's like the same price, like, play test with that better card. Just because you don't have it, like, if it's cheap and you can get it, like, just playtest with that. It doesn't make sense to playtest, like, not optimally. Like, like proxy stuff. Like, in Magic, I see a lot of the time, like, well, I don't have the card, so I'm just gonna run this other card instead. I'm like, well, proxy the shit, Who cares if you don't see the picture or whatever? Like, there are ways to, like, print out, like, proxies that have the picture and the text and stuff so it looks like the real card, and yeah, sometimes it feels differently in the sleeve and whatnot, but, like, practice. I forgot what the saying is, but, like, basically, like, you practice to play perfect. Or, I don't know, like I said, I don't know what the saying is, but you know what I mean. Like, practice, like, how you're gonna play. Don't just practice to fuck around and all of this. And sorry for swearing, but, I don't care right now. Alright, so yeah, with Yu-Gi-Oh, thank you to everyone in the community, even if you've been gone for X number of years, I don't care, thank you, because you've had some kind of impact on my life, and hopefully I had some impact on yours, regardless of how big or small it was. Like, that's what it's all about. Some Magic, I don't see me doing anything with it. Like, there's really no, like, if I wanted to play Magic, it'd have to be, like, Magic Online, and, like, if there was a mobile version, that'd probably help. And I'm not talking about the Duels of the Planeswalker game. That's kind of, like, it's not really, like, the competitive version of it. So, I don't, see myself playing, like, the card-based version, just because it's hard to keep cards, when you have to keep it a secret. So yeah, moving forward, I envision, like, Hearthstone will be my main thing. Get the logo. And I'll probably, like, I don't know. There's no real way to play. I don't want to say there's no real way. Like, the way to play competitive Hearthstone is very obscure to me. Like, I don't know how you get in that scene, and it's kind of nice that it's, it's nice. It has its pros and cons. Like, it's good because it's all computer based, but it's also bad because, with it being computer or phone based, like, you need the internet connection, and, like, if your internet dies out, like, you probably, you lose the game or whatever. So there's always that, like, technical aspect of it. I'll probably keep playing Puzzle and Dragons until I get bored of it. But like I said, it's a very deep game, and like, on the surface it doesn't. It's like, it just looks like, oh, you're playing like a different version of Bejeweled, but like, it's a lot of fun. Like, if it's enough for me to stop playing Words with Friends, and anyone that knows me knows that I played that game to shit. I love that game, but kind of just grew tired of it, and this kind of like took over. It was just more fun and stuff. Yeah, my fitness, I want to. That's kind of like, I wouldn't say that's my number one priority, but it's definitely in the top three. Like, if I want to be swole, I gotta step it up. I don't know. I don't want to say I don't know if I could be swole, but I just want to be like more muscular. Like, when you're working out and you like, you just feel better, and like it is true. Like everything, he says in his videos, like it's true. Yeah, I don't know. Doing these videos, it always sucks because I know that I'm just gonna forget about something. I did, want to say I want to talk about Teemo and the future of that. Like, recently, like we haven't been doing a lot, and it's just been like a down period. Like a good number of us transitioned to Magic and picked up some people for Magic. I would say, like, regardless, like the thing people don't get about Teemo is like Teemo is an attitude, and Teemo is family. Like it's not just a a group of people that played Yu-Gi-Oh together. Like the people that my teammates, like they are my family, and like Teemo's in my blood and it's in my DNA. Like when I moved away for the Navy, like moving to Florida and Texas, I played, Yu-Gi-Oh! In both of those places. And like even from like the first game that I played, like the very first time I show up to a local and like the first game I played, people would see me and they would notice me and they're like, damn, this guy is good. And like it was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy in Texas. Like I played like one game against someone and some of the guys like, damn, this dude is pro. Like look at how he shuffles and like puts his deck and draws his cards and stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not pro or anything. Like, I'm not. Like, I'm just a very above average player, I would say. Like, while I played in Texas, like, there were other people that, were on teams, and they'd always try to, like, be like, hey, you want to play on our team? You're really good. And I'd say, I'm already on a team. I'm on Team Overload. And they're like, well, where's your other teammates? Like, we don't know about this Team Overload. I'm like, well, they're all in Washington, and they're like, they were just really confused. Like, why is this, like, you're on a team, like, by yourself kind of thing. Like, no, all my guys are in Washington. Like, hopefully, I'll be back there and everything. But I always, represented Teemo, and even though, they tried really hard to recruit me, and, it was, like, tempting, like, well, I'm not sure if I'll ever be back, but, deep down, I stayed loyal, and, like, it was more important for me to just have, that association, be like, yeah, I'm on Team Overload, than to, like, be on some random team in Texas or Florida. So, even if I was 3,000 miles away, I was still, a part of Teemo. And going forward, like, even if I'm not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic, like, I'll always be, Teemo, part of Teemo. Like, I don't know if I'll run the blog anymore, but, like, Teemo is, like, it's an attitude, it's a lifestyle, it's, it's just in you. Like, that's what people don't get. People try to join the team and stuff, but, a lot of people have come and gone, and even those people that have gone, like, I still have that brotherly connection with them. Guys like Epler and Kyle and, et cetera, like, they're still deep down, my bros, even though if I don't, talk to them or whatever, I still got their back, and, I have their interest, in my heart. Like, it's important for me that those people, succeed and are, in good situations and that kind of stuff. So, if you wanted, like, if you always, like, wanted to join the team, but you haven't, like, there's a lot of aspects that go into joining the team, and, like, going forward, even if, like, all of us move away or whatever, which I don't imagine happening, like, there'll always be, like, I guess that presence or the mindset, and I look forward to, like, future, generations of the team, and I don't know who will, end up leading it in the future or where it might go, but, I just want to thank all them, and, they're my bros for life, so. So I don't think I have anything else to talk about. So thanks, everyone. Hope to be doing videos in the future. Probably Hearthstone. I might actually convert like the channel and the blog to like a fitness thing. I don't know. But yeah, thanks guys. Love you all.